Hello everyone, welcome to the vlog.
Hello there, welcome to Pavlogs. Hey Pavlovs!
Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about
crate training.
Yay! So we've been getting a lot of questions about crate training, and since we have a new puppy, we thought we would make a video about it.
So crate training is really important whenever you get a new dog because it gives them a nice home base for them to feel comfortable, for them to sleep in, and gives them a lot of structure to their lives.
Yes, so dogs are pack animals and they usually sleep in dens, so a crate is supposed to stimulate that. There's been a lot of talk on the internet about how crates are almost like imprisoning dogs, but that's not it at all. That is a myth, and it definitely depends on the way that you train your dog and their relationship with their crate. It can definitely be an imprisonment and a punishment for a lot of dogs if you train it that way. So here are some tips that we have, and by the way, in no way are we saying we are professional dog trainers, because that is not what we are. But this is our experience after having 2 dogs and raising them to be crate trained. And here's some advice and tips that we have for you.
So one of the first steps to crate training your dog or your puppy is to actually find what kind of crate you want. So we decided to go with a metal one that's collapsible, but there are some other ones like the plastic ones out there. Something to really keep in mind when choosing a crate is the size. So you want to make sure that your crate has enough space for your dog to stand and then do a full 360 around it. Something also to keep in mind is the size of your dog and where they are now and the size that they're going to grow up to be. And so if you start off with a small crate because it's a pup but they're going to grow into something a little bigger, you might have to end up buying a bigger crate later. But what we did was actually we just went for the size that Maslow's going to ultimately be, about 30 to 40 pounds, probably about this, and just have him grow into it. That way we don't have to reassociate another crate to him later.
Tip number 1 is just to make sure you associate a lot of positivity with the crate and your dog. So what we did was just have a lot of treats in the crate, make it a home, put a lot of his favorite toys in there. We put Pavlov's favorite toy in there because it smelled like him. We put our shirts in there, but just associate it with a lot of positivity. You know, anytime your dog goes and explores in their crate, make sure you're really loud and expressive, and make sure that you give a lot of positive reinforcement.
One trick that we have is putting little treats or goodies in the kennel so that when your dog goes in unsolicitedly, they find random things, and that's a good thing because it gives the crate a positive association that when I come in here, good things happen.
Yes. Tip number 2. When you are doing night training, and this is really difficult for us, especially the first few nights, you might want to put the crate inside your room. The dog might feel more comfortable being in proximity to you. We tried to put Maslow out in the living room, but it was way too much for him on the first night, so we decided to move the crate into our room for now, just to associate it with our smells. And Anthony actually slept by Maslow's crate all night the first day, just to let him know that he was safe and comfortable, and then the next night he was fine. So yeah, just make sure that you do take some baby steps. It's not just going to be a one and done type of thing for most dogs. Maslow's a very emotional dog, so it was important for us to ease him into crate training. You never want to just start off locking your dog in the crate and just letting him ride it out yet. You know, it's good to do a little preemptive training. Night 1 might be really difficult. That is the worst night for sure.
Oh my gosh.
We only got to do a little bit of crate training that day when we got him, and he wasn't used to it at night, so he was shrieking. We decided to bring the crate inside the room. That was one of the tips we had.
So something to think about when your dog is being crated at night is, why are they crying if they're crying? There could be a couple different reasons as to why, and the reason is important to understand how you go about troubleshooting it. So one thing to consider is, does your dog need to use the restroom? The crate is supposed to be their home, and dogs don't like to pee or poop inside their crate because it's their home. And so if they are locked inside, they might cry to say, get me out of here, I don't want to poop in my living room, take me out. Another reason why your dog might be crying is because they're scared. And this might be especially true if your dog is new to the home, so either a puppy or a new rescue or if this is just their first time crate training, this is also might be something kind of scary for them. But if that's the case, we advise that you don't immediately take them out like you would if they had to go to the bathroom. We advise you to try to comfort them while they're in the crate and let them know that they're really safe. Something really important about the early stages of crate training is they might cry while they're in there. And so if they're crying, make sure that before you take them out, they've calmed down, because otherwise they've learned to associate that they can cry and that's actually rewarded with being taken out.
And on that note, if your dog is crying, try to just take them out to do a quick pee. Make sure it's not very fun, so don't make any cute baby noises or positivity. Just take him out, let him do his business, bring him back in to his crate so he knows that he can't escape the crate just by crying. And then for the rest of the night, if he's still crying, it's mostly probably because of fear. You know, you just took him out, so he probably isn't crying because he needs to go, but just crying because he's scared. Just return him to the crate immediately and leave him there. And you know, honestly, crate training is really hard on pet parents, at least. The first 2 days I wanted to rip my hair out because he was just screaming and crying, and it's honestly a long game. But I know that like tolerating this right now will be better for his future, so he'll be comfortable in his crate. Don't give up. Do not give up on crate training. And I know it's freaking hard the first few days, but it will be worth it because that will be their safe haven, that will be their den, it'll be a place of safety. So it'll be so well worth it once they are adapted to it.
Quick tip about crating your dog is to make sure that they don't have their collar on when you put them in there. That's especially important when you're not watching them, because that collar can get caught, it can choke them, and they can get injured or even die in the crate. So if they're crying and you know that you left a collar on them, just make sure that you check and make sure that they're safe.
So tip number 3 is to make sure you stop giving your dog any water or food 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. This will ensure that they don't even have any pee-pee in that body no more. Okay, so like that won't be a problem. It might be the first few weeks, especially if you're bringing them home at 8 weeks like we did. Their bladder is so small and can only hold it for about 2 hours. That's what they say, so that's super reasonable. But the best way to prevent it, any potty accidents from happening, is to just take it away.
Tip number 4 relates to that last point about just making sure that your dog's tired before they go into the kennel, especially if you're trying to get them to sleep through the night. The first couple days, Maslow was still a pup, so he wasn't really playing around, wasn't going on outdoor walks, and he was waking up every couple hours. But now we make sure that before bed, when he's peed and pooed, but then also he's tired, whether it be playing with Pav or running around, but we want to make sure that he sleeps through the night, because if he is not so tired, then he's prone to wake us up at like 3 or 4 a.m., which is really hard to sleep through.
Yeah, definitely. Our next tip is make sure you feed your dog in the kennel. That's the easiest way from day 1 to associate some positivity and nourishment inside the kennels.
What you want to do is put the food in the back corner of the crate so that it associates the entire crate with the food. If you just put it right here, he can eat it from outside the crate. But if your dog is still hesitant or not feeling comfortable in the crate, you can put it in the front and then ease your way back. So Maslow's kind of already comfortable with it, and so we're gonna put it in the back corner.
Yeah. So he's pretty comfortable.
And on the inverse, our next tip is making sure that you don't use the crate for any form of punishment. Don't put them in there when they've been bad, or they've gotten into anything, or if they're barking or they're crying. We don't want you to associate the crate with any form of negativity, because that's going to weaken the association that they have as a really safe and comforting home.
Our next tip, so our setup, we actually have the kennel right here, and then we have like a little X pen or play pen around it. So the only time we actually put Maslow within the kennel is at night when he sleeps, for safety and so he doesn't get anywhere in the house. And then for the X pen, it's usually during the day. He has access in and out of his kennel, so it's important that he knows himself that he can go out when he wants and in when he wants, but at night he has to be inside sleeping. So setting up a routine of like when he goes in the kennel will be really good for your dog.
If you do want to put your dog in the crate during the day and not just at night, we really suggest you build up to it. So start off with 30 minutes and see how they do with that, and then build up to maybe an hour and then 2 hours. We don't advise you leave your dog in the crate for more than maybe 4 hours at a time, and that's only when they've been able to build up to it. Ways that we've built up to it was sometimes we put Maslow in the crate for while we go walk Pavlov, and that's good because it gives him his own individual time to soothe and have positive associations with the crate. But otherwise, we suggest leaving the crate open, making it free access, making it available during the day so that your dog might go in there and just relax. And whenever that's the case, just continue to leave it open, but it just means that your dog's getting more comfortable with the crate.
Yeah, but like Anthony was saying, build up to it. If your dog can only tolerate a minute for now, that's okay. Build up a minute, build up 2 minutes, build up 30 minutes. You'll get there eventually, but you need to practice it. So don't give up. That's like my #1 rule is like, do not give up on crate training. It'll be so worth it. Like right now, Maslow will bring his like highest reward treat, so like his bully stick, into the kennel because he knows that's his place of safety. For Pavlov, you know, when he was hurt or injured or just sad, he would go straight to his crate because that was his comfort. So like the crate can be a great source of comfort for your dogs, so it's really important that they have a go-to place in your home. Another thing you can do, what we've always done with our dogs, is also put a blanket over the crate. So if you have any like lights, that can be really distracting to puppies sleeping, so we just put a blanket over the crate so it's complete like darkness for the dog.
Successful crate training should look like this.
You got the...
So our code was...
Go home. Good boy.
Good boy. Close it.
Say.
Down.
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 Good boy. And you should be able to leave them in there all night and during the day if you need to leave and run some errands.
Thank you so much for watching our video on crate training today.
We hope that you enjoyed these clips and that you find them useful for training your dog.
Let us know if you guys used any of these crate training tips and how it's going. We got a lot of DMs from people with new puppies, so we would love to hear how your progress is going. This was just our progress, and I think it might be different, obviously, for individual cases, but these are just some tips that have helped us along the way. Obviously, consult an expert or a trainer if you can. I think it's really important.
If you have any other tips that you think other people can benefit from learning from, make sure that you leave them in the comments below. Also, make sure that you subscribe and like our video. We love you all, and thank you so much for the love and support. Make sure that you stay healthy and take care of yourself, and we will see you next time, Pavlovs.
Bye!